Hello friends, welcome to the Angular 8 tutorial. In this tutorial, we will see what is two-way data binding in the Angular 8. In the previous tutorials, we learned what is the one-way data binding and how many type of one-way data binding in the Angular 8. So in this tutorial, let's start with two-way data binding in the Angular 8. So basically, what is the meaning of two-way data binding? Like suppose in one-way data binding, what we were doing, whenever we were changing anything in the DOM, it was not reflecting to the component, only it was showing on the browser as using with the property or interpolation or different type of one-way data binding. So basically in two-way data binding, whenever we change anything in the DOM, it reflect to the component as well or vice versa. So basically as per the definition in one-way data binding, when we change the element in HTML file, it doesn't reflect to the component file. So to overcome this problem, we use the two-way data binding. Like if we change anything in the DOM, then these changes reflect to the component as well. So basically it update data from component to view and view to the component. So that is meaning of the two-way data binding. So and the basically this two-way data binding is a combination of the property binding as well as the event binding. So we will understand this two-way data binding with using an example, but before that we can implement this two-way data binding using two things, like first using the event and another using the property, and basically using with the ng module. So let's understand this two-way data binding with an example. So go to the Visual Studio Code. In this Visual Studio Code, what we will do, first we will understand this one within using an example. So let's create the two-way data binding. So what I will do, enter name. I will ask user to enter a name and I will create a one text box. In the text box he will enter the name. So I will write input, and in this input I will take one value property, and in this value property I will define the variable name, and the variable name is name. This name we will define in the component, and so this we will define in the component. So now next what I will do, like this name value we are assigning to the input, means in the text box. Now if we will change anything to this input, means if we will change anything to this text box, these means the changing value should reflect to the component variable as well. So for implementing that, now input, we have to attach one event to this, like data, like we are going to change means it should change the data it should, sorry, we are did something, like, yeah, again I will explain, like now at point of this time what it is doing, it is taking the value from the component and we are assigning this into the value property. Now if we change anything to this input, like we are changing anything to this input, what we will do, we have to change this name variable value to the component. So for that we have to attach one event, and what is that event, like event dot target dot val dot val. So basically what it is doing, it is updating this variable name with this event, like whatever we have written, it is updating to this one. So now what we will do, we will take like your updated name is, and we will take this value using the interpolation name, so it will show on the browser, and we will take that variable name as a string, and we will assign value to this, like go with, and hit. Now let's save it and see on the browser what it will show. undefined. Let's see why it is giving this error. So basically we have put this semicolon under this interpolation, so we have to remove it and now save it, and it's compiled successfully. Now see on the browser again, and we can see it is showing one text box and it is saying your updated name is Govind. So basically the first time it is loading from the component. Now let's change to this text box Sharma. Whenever see, when we are going to change in this text box, it is changing this interpolation variable name as well. Means when we change to this text box, it is updating the component as well, and why after updating in the component, it is taking that updated value and assigning to this interpolation value. So in that way it works, the two-way data binding. So now let's implement this functionality using ng module as well. So before working with the ng module, what we have to do, we have to add the form module. So go to the app module.ts file. Here we have to import the form module. So import from @angular. So we have to import the Angular form module, and that will be form module. So we have to implement the form module, and we have to, as I explained in the previous tutorial while working with the ng module, like in the import we have to assign this form module. So now let's save it from here and go back to the HTML page, and here we will implement this ng module functionality. So before that I will write HR, and here I will take one more text box, input, and in this input I will define the ng module. So for defining the ng module, we have to take bracket, then parenthesis, then ng model, and ng model, and after that we have to assign the variable name to this one. So I will take name1 variable name, and I will give br, and I will say your updated name is, we will take this using the interpolation again, and we have to define this name1 in this component.ts class. Now take it as a name1, and we will take here Rahul. So what we did, we added one in the module form, we added one module from the Angular, and then we added ng model in the HTML page. Like through this we are going to implement this functionality, and then we define this variable into the component. Now let's save it and see on the browser. It's compiled successfully. Now let's see on the browser. So here default value is not loading. Let's see in the component what we did. Okay, so we have taken the wrong variable name. Now let's change it, name1. Now save it and see on the browser again. It's loading. Yeah, it's loading with the default name like Rahul. Now I will change it and see, we are able to see the updated value when we are changing to this text box. So this is the concept of two-way data binding basically, and we can implement this two-way data binding using the event and another ng model. So for using with the ng model, we have to add one form using Angular, and when we import any module, we have to define that module in the import file. So that is all about the two-way data binding in the Angular 8. If you have any question, please comment and let me know. Thank you.